It is needless to say that the most important event of this week will be publication of the jobs data in the United States. Ahead of it, the trade balance report will see the light that will also attract traders' attention. What is the outlook for these events and what sentiment prevails on the market? To find it out, watch our video calendar at InstaForex TV channel. On Thursday, the United States will release a report on the export and import volumes. Donald Trump is trying hard to raise competitiveness of the American goods in the foreign market and revive the domestic production. However, his efforts seem to be fruitless, as they have had no impact on the trade balance so far. The deficit narrowed, but at a slow pace. Analysts are predicting that in October, the trade shortfall contracted more significantly to $48.7 billion If the actual result comes in line with expectations, the US dollar is likely to strengthen. On the same day, at the same time, a similar report will be released in Canada. Importantly, Canada is one of the key suppliers of raw materials to the United States, so the trade balance of this country may reflect the American economic conditions. The outlook is rather pessimistic. Though Canada's trade deficit is smaller than the one of the United States, it continues expanding. This news may put the Canadian dollar under pressure. And here is the key event of the week, the US jobs data. The forecast is rather optimistic. Analysts are predicting that the number of the employed people increased by 189,000 in November. If so, this pace of growth will be the fastest in the past 6 months. Besides, traders will factor in the average hourly earnings report, the key gauge of the consumer inflation. The outlook for this official data is also rather upbeat. The average hourly earnings is expected to increase by 0.3% in a month and by 3% on an annual basis. The FOMC members usually pay close attention to the jobs market data. Given that fact and the upbeat forecast, the demand for the American currency may increase. On Friday, the Canadian dollar will get a chance of strengthening against its American counterpart, but only if the economic statistics come in line with the expectations. Canada will also release the jobs data at the end of the week. Experts are predicting that the number of the employed people increased by 10,000. Surely this news can provide support to the national currency. However, if the US jobs data is also upbeat, the rally of the Canadian dollar will be limited. Anyway, the loonie is likely to offset losses. On top of the above-mentioned events, traders need to pay attention to the following publications. On Thursday, the retail sales and trade balance reports will be unveiled in Australia, while the Eurozone will present the final GDP estimates for the third quarter. Additionally, the IWPMI report will be released in Canada. On Friday, the German industrial report will see the light. The United Kingdom will unveil the Halifax House Price Index, and the United States will deliver the Consumer Sentiment Index. You were watching Forex Trader Calendar on InstaForex TV channel with me, Kate Tikhina. We wish you profitable deals.